चला,
एक घंटा से ऊपर हो गया यार ये।
हमने सॉल्व किया ना पूरा सेट।
हाँ, वैसे काफी कुछ कर दिया इसमें।
हाँ, तो
ठीक है।
आई थिंक तो जिसको देखना है वो देख लेंगे।
हाँ, ठीक है। एडिटिंग करना होगा तुमको थोड़ा ज्यादा इसमें।
हाँ, तो करके करके आई रियलाइज आई कैन ओनली एडिट आउट 5 मिनट्स उसके ऊपर।
Hi, this is GP here from Career Launcher, and I have Jijo with me. And today we'll be discussing the third session in the series of how to analyze the paper. If you remember, in the first session we discussed how the paper has to be handled, what are things you should be looking out for. The second section we discussed the quantitative aptitude section, wherein we said how the analysis should be done, what should be a plan of action immediately after analysis. And today we'll be doing the same thing for DILR. Okay. So let's get started on this note, Jijo. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, so DLR is probably the section that many people get worried about, unnecessarily, I think. So, but if you actually look at DLR as a section, this is one of the section that you can actually manage, and I'm sure that we should be able to help you out with that.
Just to add to what you said, Jijo, DILR is the most difficult section. And it is not a question of what I feel. I don't think it's the most difficult section, but the data tells us it's the most difficult section. A 99 percentile in DILR has always been lower in terms of the marks required as compared to quantitative aptitude and English or verbal section. So DILR by that logic is the most difficult section. But that also means it is the easiest section to get a good score. If it is a difficult section, that means no one will get a very high score, marks that is. So if you can get only a decent marks, 40% marks, 35% marks, 50% marks, you will get a very high percentile. That is not what you can say for quant and verbal. Okay. So with this, let's get down to the session. Okay. So let's get started. How to analyze the DILR section. This is the agenda that we are looking at. Okay. What is the game plan? How to analyze the DILR section for boosting your scores. Okay, and finally the action plan for the next 4 weeks. Okay. Okay. First thing, DILR. What's your game plan? Okay. Okay. Now, this is what CAT does. Okay. If you look at the last year's paper, which is CAT 2020, and here we are referring only to CAT 2020, not the earlier papers, because CAT 2020 was a 2-hour paper, 40 minutes per section, and in DILR there were 24 questions. Till CAT 19, it was 1-hour section with 32 questions per section. Now, if you look at last year, the 3 slots, what is the score you need for for a reasonable percentile? I would say my starting point would always be 85 percentile, for which I need about 6 questions. Or which means if I do 1 up to 2 sets, then I should get it. One set, remember, has 6 questions. One set could have 4 questions also. But the point is, if you can do 6 questions correctly and get 18 marks, you will be 85 percentile. And why is 85 percentile sacrosanct? If you are a general category candidate, the sectional cutoff is unlikely to be lower than 85 percentile for any college. Okay. That is why 85 percentile is important. And you increase from 6 to 7 questions, you come to 90 percentile. Look at 95 percentile, 9 questions. 10 questions get you a 97, 97.5 percentile. So what we are talking about here is doing about 8 to 10 questions correctly to get a good score in percentile terms. In marks term, again, if you remember, 24 questions. We are not still at 50% of the paper. Okay. So now let's look at how to analyze the DILR section in CAT to boost your scores. Okay. The challenge in DILR is essentially this, that what do I do after I have taken a mock? Mock was a disaster. That's fine. Most of the mocks will be disaster for most of the people. It is what you do after the mock. How do you analyze what are the things you identify for yourself that will tell you whether you're on the right track or not, whether you'll be able to improve your scores or not. Okay.
Yeah, so we have discussed this in the last time. I think what we need to understand is on the left hand side we have a mock score, and we have generally put it at 80th percentile. It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
And on the right hand side extreme, we have a target score. Now, what is so when we start looking at this mock score and the target score, you see that gap is huge, but gap does not tell me the real story. And especially in DLR, you'll agree with me, GP, is that
Hmm.
most of the decision that people make about solving a question is basically look and feel of the set. The
That's right.
set, if the set looks deadly, I would have left it. Set looks nice, I would have solved it without
Hmm.
actually realizing whether the question was something that I could have solved or not. So the first thing,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen, is to ensure that you redo all the question once again to
Hmm.
understand what is your real competence, which is
Hmm.
what we are going to call as OCAT score.
Yes.
So how many sets can actually solve? And according
Hmm.
to GP, usually GP say the aqua score is very close to target score always. That's what GP says. I think that's what even I believe is that
Hmm.
that's when you start realizing a lot of things. And then you have two gaps. One is execution gap, which means in the paper I got a particular score, but I actually could have got a particular score. That means what was it doing in the particular exam? Therefore, I have to change my behavior when it comes to execution gap. And we have already seen that changing behavior is itself an important task. Changing behavior. If you change certain behavior, then that will change your story. And then other one, whatever I do, how much time that I have, this is a score that I can get. But if I then
Hmm.
want to move to the target score, then I have to build my competence. I need to, for example, need to know how to solve, I don't know, games and tournament. That's a section that I don't know, or a set theory as a set that I don't know. So this is important when it comes to analysis. Your starting point, like in the QA, the starting point is to first understand if you had the time, where you would be, and this must be done without looking at the solution.
Now let's look at the mock at 7 that we had we had conducted a few days ago. Most and we have taken up CL mock at 7 for the simple reason most of you have taken this paper and you'll be able to associate with it. Okay, Gijo, before I start talking about this, what are the two things which you would advise students to do when they are starting the paper? What are the things that you want a student to look at in terms of choosing the sets or choosing the questions?
So I think so when we're choosing, okay, let me put it this way: that let's say if your plan of action at this point in time is to get that 98, 95 percentile to solve the two sets,
Yes.
the so that plan of action, let's say that is a plan of action that you have.
Yes.
So when the one,
You
of
want to be
course,
here.
so let's say you want to be there, right?
Hmm.
So one, of course, is that for me, eventually to choose a question, I have to go through the set. So obviously, I have to make a decision as to which sets to look at. But very importantly, it is also important that you choose questions. I think most of the time, what happens is that the attitude that I solved this. I read this particular question. I have to solve every single sort of questions from the set. So this is a problem that does not happen in QA because everything is single question. This is a problem that happens in reading components as well as DLR.
Right.
Another thing that I've noticed, GP is also leaving the set because it looks tough. Leaving a question that it looks tough. Sorry. So to answer your question,
Hmm.
both are important, your ability to decide the set and ability to choose the question. But
Hmm.
I think the big problem that I see with respect to students is that they choose the set merely by look.
It looks.
It looks difficult, therefore
Yes.
it's going to be a problem, I think.
Yes. Yeah. See, from a student's perspective, for any student, I would say, don't go by looks. In fact, you should not go by looks for anything in life. Okay. You should just go deeper. You need to go deeper. How will you decide whether a set is tough or easy? By going through the data. You don't look at the graph, you don't read the paragraph, you don't look at that information which is given, you don't look at the table, you don't look at the questions and the choices. Without doing this, you cannot decide whether the set is easy or difficult. So looks is a 5-second phenomena. If you're willing to spend a little more time, then you will be able to come out with the accurate thing, whether it is easy or whether it is difficult for you. Second thing which I want to again highlight is what is easy for you might be difficult for someone else. What is easy for others might be difficult for you. So in this paper, we are talking about easy for you, difficult for you. Okay, don't generalize that everyone found it easy, good for them. I did not find it easy, I'm not going to do it. That's a simple rule I will keep in mind for myself. The other thing which is there, as far as DILR is concerned, there are two ways of choosing the sets. Okay? Two approaches to solving DI. The first approach is spend about, let's say, 5 to 7 minutes, go through all these sets, which means you're spending about 1 to 1.5 minutes per set, and then take a call which are the easy ones, which are the medium ones, which are the difficult ones for you. And obviously attempt only the easy ones. If you have time, you can look at medium ones also. But if you do only the easy sets of data, I can assure you'll get at least one, most probably two easy sets of data. Okay. And don't even worry about the difficult one. That is one basic approach, which means if you say I can do two sets in the paper, assuming 6 minutes gone here, you have 15 plus minutes per set. If you want to do three sets of data, then you have 10 plus minutes per set. That's the way it will go. The other approach is to say, I don't think I can decide in 1.5 minute whether a set is easy or difficult. I need 2 to 2.5 or even 3 minutes. Perfectly fine. Then your approach has to change. Then don't spend these 7 minutes here. Then what you should do is pick up a set. Okay, read the set. Read the set. And here we are saying you should be willing to spend up to 3 minutes in taking a decision. Read the set means look at the data, look at the questions, look at the choices. Along with data, look at the graph, table, or whatever else information is given. Please read it, don't skim through it. Understand it. After this, ask yourself, do I think I can do this set? Yes, I can do this set in something like 10 to 12 minutes. Please go ahead and do it. The answer is no, I can't do it, or I have not understood it, or I will take at least 20-25 minutes to do it, leave it. So what you are doing is you are investing 3 minutes in each set to decide whether you will do it or not. And if you decide you will do it, you will spend another 8 to 10 minutes and finish off that set. Okay. Now what this means is, if you, let's say, out of 5 sets, two sets you leave after spending 3 minutes each. That's okay. 6 minutes gone. Two sets you solve after spending in 10, 12, even 15 minutes. You'll still be comfortably home, because two sets would mean you have done about 8 to 10 questions, depending on the number of questions in those two sets. And you will be definitely above 90 percentile, if not 95 percentile. Jijo, anything you want to add in this regard?
So one of the important things I want to add, as GP also mentioned, is that one big problem that happens with respect to DILR is that we hurry.
Yeah.
We hurry while reading, we hurry while going through the data, we hurry while solving the questions, and then one mistake here and there ruins the whole set. So the thing is that and another thing that I've noticed, GP,
Yeah.
is the, once the timer hits single digit number, no, it starts with 40 minutes, it goes to 30. The last 10 minutes, once you hit the 9 minutes, the last 10 minutes is panic for everyone. They
That's
start
right.
looking at the timer, and they don't utilize the last 10 minutes really well at all. So whether you look at the timer, whether there's a timer is there, not there, time anyway moves. So you
That's
should
right.
not be worried about timer so much. That consumes everything. So long as you know that if I hit a particular set, I'm going to nail that particular set. I'm going to hit the next set. I'm going to nail this. I've reached a level. I'll try for the third set if it's possible. Yes, and that's how you move. So hurrying is one of the problems.
Yeah.
I've also done this. After solving a particular set, I really want to see the paper in which they have solved that particular set. I really want to see how neat it is. So, and I think we we tend to reserve. People just scribble here and there, does not know what to do, and then your mind is all cluttered. I think it's about taking control and solving. That's what I believe is very important when it comes to DLR.
Yeah. Just to add to what you're saying, Jijo, my recommendation to students is one set means one sheet of paper. Jot down the data neatly, make a neat and clean table, and use a multicolored pen. You have those 4 colored pens in the market, pick them up, They have typically red, blue, green, and red, blue, green, and black color pens. Okay, 4 refills in that. Now, the advantage of that is when you have to make cases, you can make using different colors into a single table. But end of the day, what you said, Jijo, I think most students ignore that. The table has to be neat. You should not be scribbling data all over the place. The data should be such that you can retrieve it very, very easily, and you are not searching all over the sheet for that. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So let's
but sorry, but does cat may they give a pen, no, GP, or we
no,
can
no,
carry
no.
more?
Corona means you get your own pen. So,
Okay,
so,
okay,
so
yeah,
last
yeah,
year,
okay.
so last year I had that 4-colored pen with me. So it made life easy. Wherever there were cases, not that I had to use it too much, but in one odd question, one set, I think I used it because there were cases. So I made the cases using 2 different colors. It reduced my time. Otherwise, in the normal scenario, I would have to make 2 different tables. Okay,
Interesting. Okay,
okay,
okay.
okay, okay. Okay, so let's move to the mock cat 7 paper. And Gijo, what I will do is I'll go through each of these sets. I will give my feeling as to why I think I would want to do it or not want to do it, what I find easy or difficult in this. Okay. And and
Perfect.
and uh, why should I be doing it or not doing it? Okay. And that is going to be my logic, which will work for me. For many of you, it may not work. For example, as I said, something which I might say is easy would be difficult for you, and vice versa. So you have to take your call. The issue is not what is the decision. The issue is what is the logic that you have used to arrive at the decision. That is the first issue. Second is, did you have sufficient data to take a decision? If you don't have sufficient data to take a decision, tell yourself, I can't say what this set is all about, so maybe I should not be doing it. Okay. Don't say I will spend 7 minutes and then decide whether it is a doable set or not. That is going to be criminal. Okay. So Jijo, shall we go through this set now?
Yeah, please, GP.
Okay.
You
So 5 sets we have. Okay, I'll go through. My method typically is I will spend about a minute and a half on each of these set, which is why I said about 6 to 7 minutes per for the paper, minute to minute and a half per set, and where I'll say what makes sense to me, what does not make sense to me. Okay. So when I go through this set, I'll keep on also highlighting what are the things I'm looking for. 3 bedrooms in the flat, each has a AC and fan. Number panel generates numerical code where the buttons are pressed is used to switch on the AC or the fan in each of the rooms. Panel consists of 10 buttons numbered 0 to 9. Okay, in 2 rows as shown below. Okay, then we have these information. Now remember, I have 1 to 1.5 minutes, so I'm not going to read the entire information. But what have I picked out here? I have got 3 rooms, and there's a AC and a fan in each room, and each of them has a code. What kind of code? These instructions are given. These are eight pieces of information given. I will come back to these later on. Okay. So what is my first thing? This is a data set which will ask me to make cases. Okay. This is a data set which will ask me to make cases, and this will ask me to make codes based on the conditions given. If it is about making codes based on the condition given, it is not going to be difficult because I will use these conditions and make it out. If it is about making cases, it is not going to work for me because I have a tendency of missing out on cases. And if it is about making cases, then if they are close choices, or if they are type in the answer kind of question, then I am not interested in it. Why? Close choices or theta, you need to be exact. And as I said, I have a tendency of missing out on cases. So this is not a data set that I would want to do initially. I'll come back to it after I've done 2 or 3. But if it is only about saying what the code should be, I'll probably look at it. Okay. So this is what I have picked up. And please notice I have still not gone through any of these. I'll go to the questions. Yeah, Gio.
one of the things that I visually look at the questions. For example, if you look at each of these questions, I see question number 7 start by saying if.
Yes.
Now question number 8 has got information. Question number 29 has got the question number 30, which means that the set is not going to give me the complete story.
Yes.
I have to think about working on cases. It looks to be numbers. The numbers doesn't look too complicated, but there are already 8 instructions probably there are a lot of different cases to be done. So yes, this is probably not the set like I'm saying I would want to start with first, because in the hurry burry I probably will miss out on few cases. I agree with the GP as well. This would be my take on
And
this.
Jijo, there's one more thing out here.
Mm.
Uh, this is a set in which the choices are close. 23, 24. I miss a case. I don't know what the answer is. But if one of them is the answer, I have to be exact. Okay. Same. This one, 23, 27 is not very difficult. This is not close. What is the maximum numerical difference between possible? Maximum numerical difference means I need to make sure I get the maximum and the minimum. Only then I'll have the maximum. So you're right. Codes cases will be there. However, there's one thing which I will always look out for. Not now, but when I come back to it, a difficult set will always have one easy question or two easy questions. I will come back and look at those. To me, this is a set I don't want to start with, but this is a set which I don't want to reject outright, which means it is not an easy set for me. Why not easy? Because close choices theta, I know I'm going to make a mistake. It is not a difficult set. Not a difficult set because I know I can solve it. It might take a little time. I might miss a case here or there, but it is solvable by me. It is by my definition a medium set which should be done after I have done one or two sets, and then I will come back and look at this set. Okay. Now this is the way I would do it when I'm taking 1 to 1.5 minutes to solve, to decide. Right? Now let me go to the other extreme and say, if someone wants to say I have 3 minutes to decide, what would I do? If I have to take 3 minutes to decide, I will go through this information also and then decide whether I will do it or not. Not only that, I will read the stem of the questions also and say, okay, what is the whole thing about? Because in 3 minutes, I can do lots of things. Okay. So if I am looking at 3 minutes to decide, let me just erase this stuff. Okay, I'll quickly go through it. Okay, AC fans have 2, 3, 4 date numerical codes. Okay, no, they don't have similar things. Okay, so this is not an issue. Okay, at most 2 digits in any. Okay, the third one. Sorry, I missed. Sequence of numbers in any part of. Why am I going through the third statement? Because there's an example given. There's an example given, so it is important for me to look at it. Okay, numerical value for code of AC is always greater than that of a fan. And so on and so forth. So I'll go through all of them also. If I'm willing to spend 3 minutes, then it is important I go through these also. I will look at the questions also. Numerical code for fan, then how many possible numerical codes are there? How many possible codes is a question I don't like at all. Even in quant, you will find me leaving these questions for the simple reason I know this is where I will miss out on the case. So my thing would be a question mark for me. A person kept his finger on 3. It is also known person can move his finger only to the next button, that is left side, etc., etc. What is the minimum number of shifts? This is possibly doable for me. Okay. Recall the numerical code. Recall the numerical code. Cases to be made. Not something where I am happy about. Okay. So this is also question mark for me. Maximum numerical difference. Possibly doable. So if I have to come back and do this set in a 3 minute, if I spend 3 minutes, what I will do? I will say I will do question 28, I will do 30. This is what Gautam Puri will do. This is what GP will do. This is not what a Shivku or a Jijo or anyone else will do. They will decide for themselves. All I'm saying is, मेरी औकात इतनी है कि I will do these 2 questions. Other 2 I will leave. Come back to them in the end if I have time. Okay. Anything from your side, Jijo?
You know what I would have done?
Mm-hmm.
I am the second guy. 3 minutes
Mm-hmm.
wala. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I will read the set. When I read the set, I want to solve the set. That's the way I read.
Right.
And I know for a fact that if I read this much, I'll be able to pick at least one question.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you've clearly said, question number 28 is solvable.
Yes.
And question number 30 also probably, I think, crackable. I would probably solve question number 28. I'll solve question number 29. But if I spend, let's say, 3 minutes solving the set and probably about another couple of minutes putting up the cases, but I know that in about 6, 7, 8 minutes, I am out of this particular set with 6 marks.
Yes. That's the way I would look at it, Jijo. In 6 minutes, can I get 6 marks? Worst case, because to me, DILR 40 minutes, 30 marks. It is less than 1 mark per minute. It is less than 1 mark per minute. It is 0.75 marks. 30 marks I'm saying is 95 percentile, Jijo? No. 30 marks was closer to 97, 98 percentile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if in a set I can spend 3 minutes understanding the data, in 3 minutes I can do 2 questions. It is 1 mark per minute. I've done my job. I can safely afford to move out.
You probably will take about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but even in that particular case, it's about if I've always found this GP is
Mhm.
that apart from very few cases, you will always get 1 or 2 questions out. You can get 1 or 2 questions out and move on. If on a worst
Yeah.
case scenario,
Jijo, if every 10 minutes I get 6 marks, in 40 minutes I will get 24 marks.
yeah,
I will be 95 percentile. So to me, which is what I meant by saying initially, this is the easiest section to get a good score, good percentile score. But even if I have time in the end, I come back. I'm telling you the questions I'll be a little cautious with. A question I'll not be very keen to solve is question 27. I may still do question 29. 27 is my problem area. This is where I said I will typically either miss out on a case or add an extra case. This is my weak area. I don't want to indulge in this question. Okay. This is a definite leave for me. Okay. But this is a definite do for me. This is definitely do. This I'll decide on the spot. Can I or do I leave it or do? What I like is that the choices are not very close. The plus student discipline. Maximum number of wrong guesses. Maybe I'll not do it. The only saving grace is that the choices are not close, so some scope of error is perfectly fine. Okay. Okay. So this for me is going to be a medium data set to be done if I have time in at a later stage. Okay. Second set. Wow, huge amount of information. My first impression when I looked at this set is so much of information, and I could pick out numbers, ratios, rupees per item, number of items. This is going to be high on calculation. Okay. Now remember, I am the 1.5 minute person. I am not the 3 minute person. Okay. So I am not going through the entire thing. And when I have a table in front of me, I skim this portion. I will skim this portion. I will typically look out for data out here. Okay, too many numbers. That means some cases some calculation have to be made. This is typically a DI set with some bit of maybe logic, but definitely high amount of calculations. What is positive about the set is 6 questions. Okay. Theta, which means definite answers. Milap may receive the maximum value funds under which category? Okay, some categories are there, so that means categorization will also be to be done. Okay, grocery kits under which category? So categorization is there. This is going to be high on calculation. I will not reject it outright. I think it is something to be done for the simple reason question 35 and 36 are those which have got almost definite choices. Why I'm saying almost, there's either 2 or 3 okay. Okay, but this is a calculation oriented set. A calculation is something which I'm reasonably comfortable with. What I don't like about this is huge amount of data. 9 statements is huge, which means the amount of time I'll need to spend to jot down the data and write that down is going to be high. Again, not rejecting it outright. It is not my easy set. That's my basic thing. Okay, in 1.5 minute, I want to decide easy, medium, difficult, medium. Okay, and again, I'm repeating, I'm taking a call just by looking at the table, looking at huge amount of numbers, skimming through the first paragraph, and looking at the questions. This is my methodology. Okay, this is the 1.5 minute methodology. Jijo, since you're the 3 minute person, what would you do in this set?
it's very tempting. There are 6 questions. Okay,
Yes, absolutely right. That is
and
my
and and
biggest temptation.
and then you know that based on some information you will get some stuff.
Yes.
So what I would want to do is that though there are 9 sort of stuff that is given to me, more information means better for me. The question set is
Yes.
giving me more information to work with, and the number is 1600, 4214. So that's all multiple. I think
Easy
they're all
numbers.
good numbers. I see some uh, option. May I start seeing some 13 and all, but in the stuff one. But at least the basic number seems to be good. That's my
Hmm.
first go. So I would want to do is that because there are 6 sets and because I'm a 3 minutes guy, I will definitely read this particular set because I know that probably
Right.
at the end of it I may pick 1 or 2 things.
Hmm.
If I can solve lots,
Yeah.
but as the
Yeah.
look of it, GP, I think it is going to take time. I think. But
Yeah,
that's my first.
Gigi, the biggest advantage for that the 3 minute person has is because he or she has read the entire information. If he or she goes through the question, you will always be able to do 1 or 2 or maybe 3 out of 6 questions. That's the advantage with a 3 minute person. A 1 minute, 1.5 minute person, which I am, I will not have that advantage because I will not have sufficient data or knowledge or information to attempt any questions after I've done, after I've gone through the process. Okay. So yes, Gijo. So my analysis was essentially, yeah. Sorry.
So I'm good at good with creating structured data.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'll be able to put these numbers in nice place. So it looks, this will be probably one of the set people will leave. That's what my feeling is by the look
Yeah.
of it.
Gijo, one of the reasons why people will also leave is the calculations part.
Okay.
This is medium. It will take time, essentially because of the calculation which are involved. See, the moment you have price per item and number of items, we have values given out here. Okay, different categories. Total value received under category. Again, that means I'll need to start making cases. These 24 items have to be distributed among different sets of people, for example. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So this is where I would say I'm not very keen on this. This is a time consuming, high on calculation set as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I think if to even to get, let's say, one question, if I have to solve the complete thing, then that's not
Hmm.
worth it according to me.
Yeah.
Then I'll
So
probably move to the next one. Yeah.
so Gijo, from my point of view, at this point of time, I would say I would be happier with set 1, and then I would look at set 2. If I have to choose which set to attempt between set 1 and set 2, I'll possibly go for set 1. Even though it has got lesser number of questions, I know a couple of questions I'll always be able to get. Here,
Yeah.
I will have to do the entire work and then possibly I'll take a call. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the third set. The first thing which I notice is it's table. It talks about COVID-19, Covaxin, Sputnik. Some Sputnik I know is a vaccine, so maybe something about vaccines, but I can't make sense out of this table. Now, because I can't make sense out of this table, I will have to go through the information and decide with what I have to do. In the previous set, remember the table was kind of self-explanatory, and I could make sense what it is all about. Okay. So let's go through the data then quickly. Online poll collected responses from 1384 adults about which vaccination they prefer for among the 3 vaccines. The information given. Ratio of number of respondents who preferred only COVID-19 and Covaxin, only COVID-19 and Sputnik. Now this tells me this is a set theory data set. Set theory data set of 3 sets. So it is going to be 1, 2, 3. This kind of a table. Now, out here, this did not tell me much, but this first line itself told me what this is all about. What I like about the set, it is a set theory, 3 sets thing. 4 sets is doable, but 4 sets is time consuming. 3 sets is not time consuming. And it has got, what I don't like is it has got only ratios. Okay. So, doable. Now, this is an additional information out of the 1384 respondents who preferred. So, I know the total number. It was also given in the initial thing. Those who preferred exactly one vaccine took the vaccination of their preference and experience. So this is data which pertains to people who liked only who had a preference for only one specific vaccine. Okay. Okay. Now I will go to the question. So my thing was initially I did not know what this meant. After I read the first 2-3 lines and the first point I realized this is a 3-set Venn diagram data set, which means it is doable for me. Now going to the questions, number of adults who preferred all 3 vaccines, theta, which means solvable. There is a definite answer, cannot be determined. None of these is not going to be an answer. Absolute difference between who preferred. Okay. Okay. How many adults experience 2 side effects? Okay. Side effect. So first 2 questions do not need this table at all. And the next 2 questions need this table. So I will definitely want to do the set. The reason is set theory is something I'm comfortable with. I know how to solve it. The first 2 questions are definitely only about set theory, and I do not need to think anything except making that Venn diagram. Once I have made the Venn diagram, then I can come back and talk about this set. So in the worst case, I will end up doing 2 questions. If I am able to do it well, I'll probably do all 4. Okay. So this is my analysis of this particular data set. Jijo, yours?
Yeah, ekdam. I think this is said looks neat, looks clean. And when I start reading each of these sentences, once I understood there's a set theory questions with additional piece of information. But I'm sure that at least I can get the story there. And there are this is probably a set. Worst come to us, 6 marks in
Worst
6
comes to worst.
minutes.
Yes.
6 marks in
So
6 minutes, or
yes.
let's say.
Mhm.
So this is because the good thing about question number 37 and 38 is whichever work that you do here would be enough to solve those questions.
That's right.
Uh,
The only
the,
negative for me in this data set is I have only ratios and percentages.
right.
Okay, so which means, but the positive thing is the total number of respondents is given, and this 4 statements are giving so many ratios and percentages. Most probably, I will be able to solve the entire Venn diagram. Most probably, this will be solved. If this is not solvable, then 38, 738 cannot be theta. So this is solvable data set is something which I'm very sure about, especially question 37, 38.
Ismail, one of the important things that people will have to do is
Hmm.
that when you look at these are number of respondents, right? So all these are natural numbers,
Right.
right?
That's
So
right.
so instead of working with 75%, you should work 4x, 3x, or
Absolutely.
yeah. So one important thing is that you are dealing with numbers. You cannot have
Hmm,
one and a half respondents.
hmm, hmm,
So when I look at 40%, 70, 75%, I'm going to treat everything as
hmm.
sort of ratios. So
Yes.
these are what the ratio of number of respondents who preferred only COVID Covaxin, only this, and
This
all
is
three was.
exactly 2. This is
Uh,
exactly 2. This is exactly 2. This is exactly 2. This is all 3.
uh,
So,
so,
so
so
yeah.
you know for a fact that all three has to be multiple of 7. So you have 2x, 3x, 5x, 7x, and then you have other one. So this, I
Yeah.
mean, so long as you deal that percentages into ratios, I think it's pretty. It's
Yeah.
not something that is that painful. I think.
Jijat, something which you said, I think most students would have missed out. So I'm just repeating that. Look at statement 2. The number of respondents who preferred only Sputnik was 75% more than the numbers who preferred both COVID-19 and COVID Covaxin, but not Sputnik. Okay, now COVID-19, which one is that? Okay, this is 2x. Okay, so if this is 2x, this is, let me write it down. COVID-19, Covaxin, and this is Sputnik. Okay, only Sputnik. So if this is 2x, this should be 3.5x. 75% of 2 is 1.5. Now this is not a comfortable number. What should you do? You should not call this 2x. This should be 4x. This should be 6x. This should be 10x. This should be 14x. And because this is 4x, this should be 7x. Okay.
Absolutely.
So deal with natural numbers. Your calculation will always be easy. Okay. Your calculation will be easy. If you don't deal with natural numbers, you'll always end up doing difficult calculations. Okay.
And this I think this is a simple thing that saves a lot of time because in this particular case you would know that the number of respondents set theory has to be most of the case at least will be natural numbers.
Yeah, and we are talking about number of people. You cannot have half a person. Okay. Okay. So both Jijo and I agree that this is a set which is definitely doable. In the worst case, you will end up doing 37, 38. If you are a little
And,
comfortable with maximum minima, also you'll probably do all 4.
so if you look at question method, the maximum how many adults experience exactly 2 side effects? That will be sum of all those things, no?
Yeah. No,
The
there's
one that
some
he made.
data. Yeah, no, there's some additional data which has to be used out here
Okay. Oh, okay,
because
okay,
it's
okay.
talking about who
Okay,
preferred.
okay, okay.
This is about exactly one vaccine.
Oh,
Okay.
side effects. Okay, sorry, fine, sorry.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
So end of the day, all we are saying is you decide how much information you need to pick up to take a decision, but you should be consistent with that and you should be going ahead with it. For example, in this set, I because this did not make sense to me, I did not have any understanding, I had to go through this much to decide. In the previous set, this and a few glance at the numbers was good enough. I did not really have to read this too much. Okay. So it will vary from set to set, but you should be able to pick out from where are you picking the information. You should be able to decide that part. Okay. Okay. So at this point of time, the way I would attempt the paper, my order of preference, because I'm always looking at what is my order of preference. My order of preference is 3, 1, 2. This is my order of preference at this point of time. I am very, very conscious of the fact it is possible in set number 3, I will do only 2 questions. In set number 1, I'll possibly do only 2 questions. This is a realistic possibility, but I'm okay with it. And which is why these two are at this point of time medium sets to me. None of them is an easy set. 37, 38 are definitely easy, but as a set, I am not calling it easy. Yeah. Okay, another data set with 9 statements. Okay. What I can straight away see is I don't see numbers. Lack of numbers, unlike set number 3. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'll just erase this please for a minute. Yeah. Unlike this set, which is full of numbers, in set number 4, I can't see numbers, which means this is not DI, this is most probably LR. Okay. Now I will go through it because I don't know what this set is all about, so I will have to read this paragraph. Based on this paragraph, I'll see whether I need to go through the statements or not, or I can take a decision. So what I do is I typically don't read the entire thing, but I read the critical part. 5 Hogwarts students, 1, 2, okay, 5 students, what their name is doesn't matter to me, are seeking something. I don't know what that is because I have not read Harry Potter, to destroy Voldemort. Okay, they are wanting to find something to destroy Voldemort, who are concealed in 10 distinct vaults of a bank numbered 1 to 10. Okay, so now I have some idea. It is 5 people and there are 10 vaults. Okay, between vault numbers 1 to 10, there are 5 such vaults that belong to each of these students. These 5 vaults are owned by someone. Okay. There are 5. 5 are owned by someone and 5 are hence vacant, if I can use that word. Okay. Okay. Each of them searches exactly 2 vault. Oh, there are 10 vault, 5 are owned and 10 are searched. How are they searched? Each of these 5 people into 2. Each of them searches. None of them search their vault. The following information is given. There is an LR set. Okay. Now, reading the first paragraph, I can understand that I will possibly need to make a table. What kind of table? It will be person, sorry, vault number, the who owns the vault, and who searches this vault. To me, this is the kind of table I'll need to make 1, 2, up to 10, and what I like about this is 9 statements. In the previous one, I said 9 statements are too many, but 9 statements here means most probably I'll be able to get everything in place. And which is again, look at questions 41, 42. Definite answers. Who searched vault number 1? Definite answer. Who owns vault number 6 is definite answer. Okay. Other 2 questions, when I glance to the question, I find some different names, so I don't know what to do with it. But this is definitely a set which I would want to look at. Unfortunately, in this particular paper, every place I'm getting 2 questions are doable, 2 I don't know. But that's okay with me. As I said, to me, in every 10 minutes, if I can get 6 marks, I will get 24 marks in the paper. I'm happy with that. Jijo, your analysis of this set?
Yeah, so if I'm actually looking at the set, so I'm basically at this point in time would have probably done 4 questions by now. And I would have probably reached a place which is about 6, 12, 15 odd minutes. Okay, and this is a set which means that it looks nice. Like how we said, there are a lot of data, and personally, analytical reason or these kind of things is something that I but there's a liking that I have naturally. If I put on this, it is quite possible that this 4 question can come. This is probably something that I will probably want to commit and then add another
Yeah.
maybe another 8 minutes or something to knock this out.
So
So
just
that's
to
what it.
just to add to what Jijo said, in Jijo's case, what would have been done? In set 1, he would have definitely done 2 questions by now. In set 2, he would have possibly skipped. Is that right, Jijo? The
Probably, yeah.
set 3, you would have done at least 2 questions, the set theory, the Venn diagram ones.
Huh.
And now you are at set 4. Okay.
I'll probably do all 4, huh?
And now you'll possibly do all 4. Now let's look at it this way. These 2 questions would have possibly taken Jijo, after reading the data and doing those things, about 6 to 7 minutes, Jijo.
Yeah.
You would have skipped this, but skipping also
Three.
would have taken you maybe 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And this again about 7 minutes. So in the so 15, maybe about 17 to 18 minutes you have already spent. And you'll probably take another 10 to 12 minutes and do these 4 questions also. Is that right, Jijo?
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the way I'm looking at this paper from someone who's a 3-minute per set person to take a decision, in something like 30 minutes, you have done 8 questions. But 8 question means 24 marks and 95 percentile. You are safe. Okay. My approach would be, when I'm here, I have done about 4 minutes. I have not attempted any question so far. Okay. All I have done is I've decided, okay, now set number 4 is something which I want to do. Set number, no, which was the earlier set? Set 3. Yeah. Set 3 is a Venn diagram set. Set 3, I'll definitely do 2 questions. Set number 1, I'll definitely do 2 questions. And then after that, if I have time, I will look at set number 2. But Jijo, when he reaches here, when he finishes this set, he's at 30 minutes end. I am still at about 4 minutes or 5 minutes because I have not started solving the paper. I will work out the sequence and then start solving the paper. Okay. Yeah. Last set. The moment I look at this table, I like it. Why? Time, speed, distance, time zone change. Okay. Time zone change. This okay. And yeah, so calculations. Okay. But still, to be sure, I will go through the data now. I know this is a table that I understand. I understand we have eastbound train, westbound train, and this kind of data will typically mean time zone change. Okay. Trans-Siberian Railways, I know it has to be time zone change. Arrival departure time of eastbound, okay, that's not something I need to be worried about. Day represents day number, that is okay. MT represents MT is a new term with respect to Moscow time. For example, +3, that I know. That means Moscow is my reference. It is not Greenwich, which is my reference. It is, I don't know whether it's called Greenwich or Greenwich, whatever it is. But to me, it is a Moscow, which is the reference. All times are with respect to Moscow is what I will go with. So that's okay. Definitely to be done. Question, definite answer. Theta again means definite answer. What is the value of A? Okay, I can find the time. Definite answer. Definitely to be done, these 4 questions. And then there are 2 questions with additional information. Okay. This is a set I want to do. Now, from my point of view, this is my preferred set. This is what I want to start with. This set number 5 is the set which I am saying is easy for me. Set number 1 and set number 4 were easy to medium for me, closer to medium. Okay. And then I have a set number 2, which is slightly higher level of difficulty, and set number 3 is something. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I mixed up those numbers. 3, 2, 1. I'll just rewrite that part. Okay. So for me, now I can say, if I look at the easy set number 5. Okay. If I take a classification, easy, medium, or medium closer to medium, I will say set number 3. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm messing it up again. Yeah, 4 and 3. Set number 4, set number 3. Then I will look at set number 1, and then I will worry about set number 2 in the end if I have time. So even if I'm able to do only this much, I'm okay. Okay. Jijo, your approach to this particular data set?
Yeah, this data set, actually, this data set not very complex. Numbers are good. So you're saying that some trains started at 2010 and that is what departure is 2030, the 30 minutes there. And there is time zone. The time zones. This is not, is it time speed distance or is it time zone only?
It is time zone.
Okay.
For all practical purposes, it is time zone. It has got no TSG except the speed of 60 kilometers per hour is given. And
Okay.
the first question is about the how long is the journey.
So this is something that so I'm saying that if I read this particular set, I'm definitely doing this, and hopefully try and get 4 and maybe the last 2. But here the difference between your approach and my approach is this, GP. You are choosing to do the easy sets first. Okay,
that's right.
So when you start, you spend that time and when you
Mhm.
start solving, you
Mhm.
would you would have some idea in terms of what you are doing. Okay,
That's right.
here I'm probably at when I'm looking at this particular test, I am the last 10 minutes.
That's
Therefore, I
right.
should be someone who should not panic in the last 10 minutes. If I
Yes, absolutely.
if
Absolutely.
I if I if I if I start looking at that, if 10 minutes is a lot of time, and if I don't do at the pace at which I was doing everything in terms of aram say slowly, when I say slowly, let me not use the word slowly, at the pace in which the question deserves, it can be knocked off in probably 10 minutes, maybe 4 questions, maybe six, who knows, but definitely at least 3 to 4 questions, which means from eight I would probably go to whatever 12, maybe 10, 12, where I'll be. Yeah.
The interesting bit with this kind of data sets is there'll always be two questions which are very easy. There'll be one odd question which is difficult, but you can always pick and choose. This is not a set. See that the let me also say okay, what is the difference between this particular set questions 41 to 44 versus 45 to 50? The difference is here you make the table and then you solve. Without making that table, it is unlikely. Occasionally we are able to do it. Those of us who use choices are able to do it, but for 95% plus or 99% students, it is likely to be you will create a table and then you will answer the questions. In this particular data, table is already given. I can say, okay, this question I will do, this question I'll leave, this question I'll do, this question I'll leave, this question I will leave, this question I'll do. I can do this in this kind of a data set because it is the data is in front of me. It is like saying what percentage change you need to calculate. Those specific questions is what you can pick and choose. Okay. So the just to highlight the fact which Jijo said, the difference is right now when I'm here, for me it is about 7 minutes gone. Okay, 0 marks. Now I will start the paper. As far as Jijo is concerned, when he's come here, 30 minutes gone, or maybe even 32, 33 minutes gone, but he still has done 8 questions. So 24 marks. So when he comes, so this is a different stage. Now, because I'm at the beginning of the paper, now I can say, let me start from set number 5 and then start doing the rest of the stuff. Okay.
the the both,
Hmm.
so in the approach that I would do, it is
Hmm.
about managing the last 10 minutes, no panic there.
Absolutely.
In the
Hmm.
approach that you would do is that if
Hmm.
for some reason
Hmm.
your easy did not turn out to be easy, that you should not
Right.
panic and just move forward. I think that
Hmm.
is going to be the
Hmm.
critical thing. No, sometimes you can make those little bit. I think that panic happens. No, first a lot of people. This is what I think I
No.
can solve. Huh.
Hmm.
But probably in your
Huh.
case, it won't happen because you are making a conscious decision on
Hmm.
it and not actually
So
falling for look
Jijo,
and feel. But
Jijo, yeah, Jijo, here one of the reasons why panic will not happen is I will pick up a set only if I'm 100% sure that I can solve it. Second thing is,
yeah, okay.
for example, if I decide to do set 1, I'm going into the set 1 knowing that I'll probably not do all 4 questions. So if I'm unable to solve a question, I'm happy leaving it. I don't have any problem leaving it. Unfortunately, most of the students start by saying, if I pick up a set, I have to solve everything. Why? A easy set can have difficult questions. I leave those. A difficult set will have easy questions. I'll attempt those. So to me, while the construct is sets, you still have to answer questions. You get marks for questions, not for sets. So please keep your focus on the question, not on the set. Set is a construct through which you solve the questions. Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so all I was about to say, so that tells you that how you should be choosing the set, but this is what you're supposed to do in the paper. This is not the analysis part. We are still not read the analysis part. So Gio, shall we move to the analysis part? How to
Yeah.
analyze this
So
section?
yeah. So one of the important thing about analysis is this, GP, is
Hmm.
that just because I felt some question difficult, I need to also analyze how many missed opportunity you had.
Right.
So that is important. So yes,
Hmm.
GP, let's start with the analysis after.
Okay. Hmm, 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 hmm. Okay. So now let's look at the analysis part. How do we analyze the paper? First thing after the paper, yes, you will check your marks, which how many questions correct, how many incorrect. But the first thing you need to do is solve all sets again. Okay. even the ones which you have got right, because you might suddenly find there was an easier way of doing it, or there was a question which was much more easier. Because you solve all sets again. That's the first thing you do. Why do you need to solve again? To find out what is your Aukat score, what is your Aukat, and if you can identify your Aukat, it'll also tell you what is your competence gap. Okay, pardon the spelling. Okay, so you need to get the Aukat score. You found in the paper you did only one set. After the paper, you're able to do three sets. This is the gap which you need to look at. So, and then ask yourself, what did I do wrong? What was the incorrect behavior that I had in the paper because of which I was not able to achieve my Aukat score? That's the first question to ask yourself. Okay. Second thing, I will come to the competence later. Second thing, after all, if you have not got the right sets of data, or you have not got the score that you think you deserved, it is purely because of wrong choice of sets or wrong choice of questions. Okay. Now you need to go back and say, okay, out of these 5 sets, which were the easy sets, which were the medium sets, which are the difficult sets. Okay. You know that already because you have solved all the 5 sets, you know these sets. And ask yourself, how do I identify them? How do I identify if the set is easy, medium, or difficult? What are the hints, or what is the information given in the data sets and the questions which should have told me that this is an easy, medium, or difficult? And please document this for yourself. Something that most students will not do is, I want you to do, start writing down. Maybe just take a printout of the paper, maybe keep a book with you. This particular set, this mock, this set, this was the key thing. And start looking at that regularly so that you can at least improve your identification of sets. Okay. To me, this is a first step to do. If you have not done this much, then there's no point doing any then there's no point even taking the paper. Yeah, Jijo, back to you.
Yeah, so absolutely, GP. I think what you, I think the first is that I think people p- just don't want to look at the DI sets again because they feel so embarrassed. I didn't. Nothing happened. I just solved one question. I the I don't know how many times we'll have to say this to all of you. Is this that a mock test is just a set of questions for you to solve and learn? So if you do this particular thing and do the analysis and keep it by the side, imagine we will still going to do what, 13 more mocks no GP, right?
Yeah.
Ahead, we still have 13 more mocks. Each mocks we're going to have what, 5 sets. So we have already how many? So
65.
65 is 65 more sets. And each test has got a great learning opportunity. If you simply look at the 65 set, and also even after solving the set, one other thing that I will also recommend GP, at least definitely for DLR, is to watch the solution videos.
Yes.
So in terms of whether GP is taking it or whether Ravi is taking it, and is absolutely looking at what's the solution video, that will give you more ideas. And once to watch the solution video, I would also recommend that you do it again, do the set again, and ensure that you inculcate certain habits during this analysis. And that's something that I would like to add, DP, to
Yeah.
what you've already said.
Okay. Okay. So the third thing after this is, you are able to do 3 sets of data, 2 sets you were not able to solve. Please check the solution. For the remaining 2 sets, okay, remaining 2 sets, check the solution. Whether you go through the physical, the written solution or not does not matter, but you should definitely go through the solution video, and then to ask yourself, is it something doable for me or not? Now, is that easy or medium or difficult? Okay. So first step, just to repeat, solve all sets again. The ones which you are not able to solve, go through the solution to take a call. After which, classify each set as easy, medium, difficult. Okay, and ask yourself, how do I have now identify these to be easy, medium, difficult without solving the set? What was there in the data which you have told me that this is a easy or a medium or difficult set from your point of view? After, with the next thing is, this is something you don't not worry about it, you'll usually get it right. It is these two which are your problem areas. Okay, Why is medium a problem area? Medium was doable by you, but you messed it up. Okay, so this is the reason. If you are not reaching your Ocard score, this is the set which is the reason. This is the reason for you not reaching your Ocard score. Okay, and the difficult sets are the reason why you will not be able to reach your target score. So it is the difficult set which is the reason, is something which is exhibiting your knowledge gap or competence gap. Okay. So now you need to start working on both of them. Some of these sets you may even say, no, even if this set comes again, I'm not going to do it. No issues at all. Already about how many 7 mocks have happened? 35 sets. Maybe you'll say there are 5 sets which are not even worth looking at. Again, I don't want to look at it. Perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. But these sets are something which you need to revise. These are the sets which you need to revise on a regular basis, because if you keep revising them, your ability to handle this kind of data set will improve significantly. Your time taken to solve such data sets will come down significantly. You will be able to structure the data much faster and in a much more neat and clean manner. Okay, so this is the next step as far as this paper is concerned, and this to me completes the analysis part. So this is the analysis, and this is the action on the analysis. Based on the analysis, this is what you are going to do. Which are the sets you will leave for future and not attempt at all? Which are the sets which you need to revise on a regular basis so that you improve in this area? Anything else you want to add, Jijo?
No,
Or
I think this is clean. I think if someone sits and solves all the CL mock DI sets along with the recent CAT sets and ensure that you can nail all of them, I think
Mhm.
you've done a significant number of sets, no, GP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shall we move to the 4-week
Yeah.
action plan? Okay,
Yep.
great. Okay.
I think we'll have to
So
check where are we now? Which
yeah,
date?
we are on 1st August today. Okay.
Okay.
So let's start from 2nd August. Now let me assume you have taken 5 mocks so far. Okay. Some of you may have taken 3 mocks, some of you may have taken all 7 mocks, or some of you have taken old CAT papers also. Let me say you have taken 5 papers in all. Whether it is mock or old CAT papers does not matter to me. Okay. What I want you to do is, effective 2nd August, is go through paper 1 again. Solve all sets. Do exactly this thing for paper 1 again. Okay. After you have done paper 1, you have identified the medium sets. Solve the, okay, revise. Which means do the entire thing, identify easy, medium, difficult, identify the reasons, and maybe if you have time, solve the medium ones again. On 3rd August, what you need to do is, first thing you do is do paper 2 and revise data sets from paper 1 with data sets, the medium ones. Okay. On 4th August, do paper 3 and revise medium sets of 1, 2, and 3 you have already done. Okay. Now what this means is, paper 1 you have done 1, 2, 3 times the medium sets. Hopefully now you don't need to do it again. If required, you can do it on the next day also. Day 5, what will you do? You will pick up paper 4 and revise medium sets of paper 2, 3. Okay. So on any given day, you are doing one paper and you are revising 2 other papers. So what this does is, it gets you in the rhythm. It ensures that you will not forget the medium sets. And once you have done this for, let's say, all the papers, start doing this subsequently for the section tests also. In your aspiration account, you have section tests. Please start doing the same for this. You do an old CAT paper. Please do the same thing for old CAT papers also. And I will assume by 15th August, you have covered all your backlog. What you need to do effective 16th August? Revise once a week. Revise once per week. What will you revise? The same medium sets. Difficult you are not going to do in any case. Easy you are very comfortable with. So you need to just keep revising that medium sets so that there is no execution gap. Okay. And this you need to continue till CAT. Pick up one day of the week for revising of all medium sets. So as far as I am concerned, you don't have 7 days to do DILR. You have 6 days to do DILR, one day to revise DILR. That's the way you need to structure your preparation. And in fact, if you remember, this is exactly what I said for quantitative aptitude also. Yes, Jijo, your turn. Sorry.
I think perfect. I think what GP is trying to say is, a some of you will have already been revising, so this first week is smooth and done. But I'm saying that the vast majority of you have taken some test and thought that you've finished it because you took it. You have not finished everything. There is no such thing as finished. You will continue to learn this, and please stick to this for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then you'll get back to rhythm. And I think that by next month, I think probably September end, you will be in a place where you know exactly, like we said, what game plan you want to look at, whether you want to hit uh, say something. But tell me one more thing, GP. Which how should someone decide whether they have to go with 7 minutes in the beginning or 3 minutes, 3 minutes
I'll say
plan?
try both approaches. Try both
Okay.
approaches, and but don't shortcut the process. Whichever approach you choose, you have to follow the process to the T. Which means you cannot say I'll take a 3 minute wala formula, but try to do it in 2 minutes. No, not done. Take 3 minutes. End of the day, I don't want you to even be in a situation where you are rushing through a data set or question. I'm okay you doing going through only 4 sets. If you take the 3 minute approach, the first set you took 3 minutes, you left it. Second set you took 3 minutes, you spent 12 minutes to do it. 15 minutes gone, plus 3 minutes, 16. 15 minutes gone, no issues at all. Third set, you took 20 minutes and then solved it 35 minutes, that's okay, no problems. But to save time, if you are going to cut down on the time of analysis or deciding, then you are invariably going to end up with a wrong decision and the greater wastage of time. Similarly, if you are looking at my approach, you need to be very clear about one thing. If I am doubtful, it is medium, it is not easy. I am not sure whether it is easy or medium, it is medium. I am not sure whether it is medium or difficult, it is difficult. When in doubt, please don't give yourself the benefit of doubt. Give the paper the benefit of doubt as far as the beginning of your preparation is concerned. 2 months down the line, the scenario might change completely.
Actually, once and it's at the core of it is still the same. You are not
Yes.
supposed to get stuck in any question.
Yes.
Number one, there is opportunity available in every set
Yes.
to get some marks. Another thing that is there, that there is no way you're going to sit and read anything fast to save time. These are the, I
Right.
think, both the approach. If you have that basic in place, I think it should
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. So, Jijo, just to add to what you said, in this first set, I will do these two questions, possibly 28 and 30. At the end of the paper, you will do them at the beginning of the paper. That's the only difference. But as far as the paper is concerned, most probably, I'm assuming, neither of us are going to attempt these two questions. I am definitely not going to attempt 27. I am, what is it,
Yeah.
maximum number of long
Uh,
guesses. Now, even I'm not 28 and 30, I'll definitely attempt. Depending on the time available, 27 or 29, I might attempt 29 purely because the choices are not close. Okay, so I guess that takes care of the DILR section, and it's become a little longer than what we thought, DJ, it will be, but I guess that's fine. DILR is a bugbear for most of the students, and hopefully this video will help them resolve this issue for themselves.
yeah, every time we start by saying that we'll do next time, we'll cut it short, but it's never happened that. I think it's important. Once in a while, you should listen to some long video. I think everybody is looking for short tips so that things
Yeah.
can be done short.
See,
Sometimes you have to listen to
not only
story as
that,
long.
everyone's looking for shortcuts. Unfortunately, there are no shortcuts for something. The process has to be followed whether you like it or not. Okay.
Yeah, GP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I guess so. We'll close the session.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it has served the purpose. Do let us know if it has resolved the issue for you or not. And don't take a decision now. Give yourself a week to follow the process, and then please come back and share your comments. And additionally, please do mention the comments. What are the other issues you would like us to take? Okay. Thank you. All the best.